Hi Carolyn.
Hi Karina.
Thanks for dropping in and meeting us on our Irish Ancestry Trail.
It was my pleasure.
So here we are in Toronto,
Toronto,
Canada, and we've met here in a special place.
We're at the Ireland Park,
which
is specifically located at the entrance of approximately 38,000 Irish
here
to this area between May and October of 1847.
Oh, I think I read that the population here almost tripled when the Irish arrived.
It was only 20,000, so it almost doubled initially, and of course immigration didn't stop, but that was the biggest influx during that period of time.
Wow. So this park here then commemorates those people?
It certainly does. Not only does it include beautiful Kilkenny granite or limestone, it also includes 5 lovely sculptures,
which we see here and we'll have a look at later.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they kind of depict the agony and the hope of people that were disembarking.
Yes.
Some, of course, were very sick with typhus, so a lot perished.
Now tell me a little bit about your Irish ancestors. I know we did the Homeland feature in County Armagh.
That's right.
But can you fill the gap between Armagh with the Olivers and here in Canada?
My Olivers actually emigrated from Glasgow, Scotland. But my great-grandfather was from Armagh.
Okay.
And he was born and raised there. He didn't leave there until about 1864. And when he headed to Australia first, stayed there for several years apparently, and then back to Glasgow where he married my great-grandmother. And it was his son, Benjamin. And there's a whole list of Benjamins.
Yes, they kept the name Benjamin through. Yeah.
His son was born in 1891, and he emigrated in 1921 to come and stay with his sister and a brother.
And where did he come to, Carolyn, then?
He landed in Montreal in the harbour there, and then he went back to Glasgow and brought back his wife and 2-year-old son, another Benjamin. So they actually resided in Montreal for a period of time, but then went across to the States because of the potential for work, where my father was born. And then they returned to Montreal and lived from approximately 1839 until my father actually left to get work in Northern Ontario and to marry my mother. So it was a good thing he went up there, but he was actually in the Second World War. And although he couldn't get on the ship at Halifax, which he was supposed to do to go overseas, because he had the flu, he ended up going up and working in a POW camp in Monteith in Northern Ontario. And he met my French-Canadian mother there, and they got married. Now the whole family were Presbyterian.
Oh, yes.
And he converted to Catholicism in order to get married, really.
Okay.
He was very open, by the way. I mean, we attended all kinds of different churches as kids, but he did raise us Roman Catholic.
And that is where you were born?
I was born in Northern Ontario in a little town called Matheson, which is approximately 8 miles from Monteith, where they were living.
Okay. And now, where do you reside, Carolyn?
I currently live in Brampton. I relocated once I retired.
And Brampton from Toronto is about 50 minutes by car, is it?
It's about 50 minutes drive. Okay. It's northwest, and it's sort of considered part of the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area.
Okay.
So it has a population of about 500,000, although it is certainly more rural than urban.
What does it mean for you being on your Irish Ancestry Trail and meeting with us and being in the park here today?
It's an amazing journey, and I really encourage people when they're considering research and finding out their roots to really be patient with themselves, but also to recognize the amount of sacrifice individuals made in order to find a new world, a new country, to provide a better life for their children. So it's an amazing place to be. It obviously has great significance to me. I wish they'd made the park bigger.
Yes, it is. It's juxtaposition between a light airport over there for light aircraft and huge big grain silos, and yet this wonderful promenade by the water, by Lake Ontario.
That's right. The harbour front is gorgeous. It's definitely continued to be made into places for people to live in condominiums, because condominiums, high rises seem to
That's the way it's going.
take the area over. And the old malts silos here really is reminiscent of the breweries that were along the waterfront.
Okay.
The Billy Bishop Airport, by the way, is an area that I actually landed on. My husband used to have his pilot license, and I remember the fear coming down from the sky onto that little short runway.
It does seem small.
Yeah, but it definitely, this is a lovely area. It's certainly got lots of history for Irish descendants.
Thank you, Carolyn. I'm
You're welcome.
delighted. Thank you.